The local budgeting system during the pre-colonial government code has been characterized as suffering from various infirmities, such as lack of transparency in budget execution, inaccessibility of income and expenditure information, unhelpful central government review process, limited view of development of local officials, and integration of plan and budgets. Taking the cognizance of these budgetary flows, the code has introduced changes and reform. One major aim of budgetary reform is to integrate planning and budgeting functions in the operationalization or translation of development plans and programs into concrete realities. Another objective is to rationalize the budget process to affect more responsible and accountable utilization of public resources. The procedural aspect of the reformed local budgeting system has embodied in Budget Operations Manual or BOM for LGUs prepared by the Department of Budget and Management or DBM and the Commission on Audit or COA. In consonance with the Section 254 of the Code, which states that the Secretary of the Budget and Management, jointly with the Chairman of the COA, shall promulgate a budget operation manual for local government units to improve and systematize method, technique, and procedures employed in budget preparation, authorization, execution, and accountability. Manual has been prepared by the DBM. The Local Government Budget Manual, or LGBM, as an elaboration of the earlier version of BOM. The sequence of concepts in these manuals are presented in this chapter to enhance understanding and application of the techniques involved in the system. At the end of this chapter, the listener shall be able to explain the concept of the local budget, including the local budgeting framework, fundamental principle and policies. Describe and explain the various stages in local budget process and the role of each actor involved in the process, and discuss the issues and problems that still bisect local budgeting. That is just an introduction in our lecture. Without further ado, let us discuss what is local budget. A local budget can be difficult to comprehend for the average citizen who does not have background in accounting or budgeting experience. Since involved din dito ang buwis na binabayad ng mga tao sa gobyerno, so kailangan every citizens in every local community should have at least basic understanding kung ano nga ba ang local budget, ano yung nilalaman nito, why they are important, and how they are presented. Dahil ang citizens participation ay isa po sa pinaka-importante sa local government budget, and after all, sila naman yung paglalaanan nito. Now, the local budget is the LGU's financial plan and instruments for implementing the local development plan and its investment program. The local government typically have the operating budgets and capital budgets. Now, ano nga ba itong operating budget? Operating budget is a plan of current annual spending and the means to pay for it, such as taxes, fees, and etc. While the capital budget contains long-term spending for the acquisition of assets and the means to pay for them, including borrowing. Now, what is the basis of the data in a local budget? It is an authority to spend in compliance with the code's fundamental requirement that no money shall be paid out of the local treasury except in pursuant of an appropriation ordinance or law. That's according to Section 305. According to Section 317, submission of budget proposals by head of departments of the office, each head of department or office shall submit a budget proposal for his department or office to the local chief executive on or before the 15th of July of each year. Yung mga department head dapat on or before July 15 daw ay meron na silang budget proposal para sa kanilang department, such as yung proposal ng pagpapaayos ng mga kalsada or public buildings sa kanilang lugar. Ibibigay nila yan sa local chief executive or sa kanilang administrator na either provincial, city, or municipal administrator. And siya ang magsasama-sama nun para mabuo yung executive budget. If sa tingin niya lalagpas sa estimated income yung budget proposal, syempre kailangan bawasan niya kasi nga po, zero budgeting na daw po tayo. Ibig sabihin kung magkano yung papasok na income, dapat yun din yung paglalaanan ng gastos. So hindi dapat susobra. So if kulang naman, ay deficient spending siya, gagawa ng paraan ng chief executive, pwede siyang mangutang para mapondohan ito. Next one is the fundamental budgeting principles and policies. The budget is a central policy document of government, showing how will priorities and achieve its annual and multi-annual objectives. Apart from financing and new and existing programs, the budget is the primary instrument for implementing fiscal policy and thereby influencing the economy as a whole, alongside other instruments of government policy such as laws, regulations, and joint action with other actors in society, the budget aims to turn plans and aspiration into reality. The OECD has developed and is developing more detailed principles and recommendations for further guidance on specific elements of the overall budgeting framework. Budgets should be managed within clear, credible, and predictable limits for fiscal policy. Budgets should be closely aligned with the medium strategic priorities of governance. The capital budgeting framework should be designed to meet national development needs in a cost-effective and coherent manner. Budget documents and data should be open, transparent, and accessible. Debate on budgetary choices should be inclusive, participative, and realistic. Budgets should present a comprehensive, accurate, and reliable account of the public finance. Budget execution should be actively planned, managed, and monitored. Performance, evaluation, and value for money should be integral to the budget process. Long-term sustainability and other fiscal risks should be identified, assessed, and managed prudently. The integrity and quality of budgetary forecasts, fiscal plans, and budgetary implementation should be promoted through rigorous quality assurance, including independent audit. Local government will demonstrate its priorities by establishing funding levels for various programs and allocating spending within each program area. The budget also demonstrates how the local government's policy commitments are constrained by available resources, as local governments are limited in how much they may raise through revenues. Hence, they must balance the demands of various programs. Alam ba natin yung rules sa public budget and then sa rules sa private budget? In private budget, as much as possible, huwag mabawasan. Dapat bawasan ang expense para may matira. Yung saving na yon ay income. Magaling ka daw na leader sa isang private corporation if mataas kang mag-save ng income. But in the government, baliktad. In public budget, kailangan yung budget na nilaan maubos lahat. Kasi nga, public service siya. Dapat hindi negosyante. Hindi dapat kumikita ang mga nasa gobyerno. If ang isang department binigyan ng 1 million and 1 year ago, wala pang 1 million ang nauubos sa susunod na taon, bawawasan yon. Meaning, mababa ang kanyang absorptive capacity. Hindi niya kayang umubos ng budget na nilaan sa kanya. The Local Development Plan. According to Local Government Code of 1991, Republic Act 7160, Section 106, each local government unit shall have a comprehensive multi-sectoral development plan to be initiated by its development council and approved by its sanggunian. For this purpose, the development council at the provincial, city, municipal, or barangay level shall assist the corresponding sanggunian in setting the direction of economic and social development and coordinating development efforts within its territorial jurisdiction. The local development plan is a deliberate, rational, and continuous effort of the local government unit to accelerate the process of development in preparing a set of decisions optimizing use of local resources with active participation of the community. Local development plan is one of the core components of ICBP. Itong ICBP ay solusyon na dinevelop ng DILG or Department of Interior and Local Governments sa problem na gaps between performance and expectations. These serve as an effective delivery tool and strategy to provide direction for physical development and accelerating economic growth. It aims to capture the aspiration and desire of the citizenry on the top and level of development they want to attain at a certain time. Development planning as one of the components of ICBP mainly deals with capability building of 3 organizations or bodies in the local government units that are directly involved in planning, such as the Local Development Council and the Local Planning and Development Staff, and then the Sanggunian. And Local Development Council, it is the planning body of the local government unit which assists the Sanggunian in setting the direction of economic and social development efforts within its territorial jurisdiction. Paano tinatawag ang mga LDCs sa barangay, bayan, at lungsod? Sa barangay, tinatawag itong Barangay Development Council. Sa municipality naman, tinatawag itong Municipal Development Council. Sa province, tinatawag itong Provincial Development Council. Planning and budgeting linkage. While development planning is beyond the scope of the chapter, the importance of the plan, which reflects the local development priorities as an input to the budget process, cannot be overemphasized. The Local Development Council, or LDC, prepares the Local Development Plan, or LDP, or CDP, or AIP, under Section 109 of Local Government Code. Operationally, before the start of the budget preparation activities, the Local Development Council or LDC furnishes the Local Finance Committee or LFC with copies of Local Development Plan or LDP and the Annual Investment Program or AIP. The plan guides the Local Finance Committee in coming up with its recommendation on the annual expenditure of each development activity. This planning and budgeting linkage at the local level is illustrated in the schematic diagram presented in Figure 23. Sa bawat LGU, may Local Development Council. Ang LDC under Section 109 Code, gumagawa sila ng pang-matagalan yung tinatawag na LDP or Local Development Plan or Comprehensive Development Plan na good for 5 or 3 years. Tapos yung Annual Investment Plan naman which is good for 1 year. So yung gumagawa dyan ay ang Local Development Council. The Sanggunian will then approve or disapprove the LDP or CDP or IAP. After dadalhin sa Sanggunian at yung Sanggunian ay pagtitibayin niya ng resolution. Now, ano nga ba yung nangyayari sa budget making process? The LGBM illustrates the direct linkage of planning with budgeting in the following activities undertaken in the various phases of the budgeting process. First is the budget preparation. In budget preparation, the plan is used to determine expenditure and sectoral ceilings, to formulate the function or project activities, and to determine cost estimates. Yung responsible dyan ay si Mayor, yung Local Chief Executive, and yung Local Finance Committee nito or yung Treasurer nito. There are two parts of executive budget such as yung estimate of income and then yung expenses or total appropriate covering current operating expenditure and capital. Sa makatuwid, pag tinignan ninyo yung budget nyo, either barangay, bayan, or lungsod, panlalawigan, dalawa lang lagi ang hahanapin mo. Saan manggagaling ang pera? Saan ito dadalhin? Yan dapat ang always itanong or isaisip ng magre-review ng LGU budget. Now, lahat ng budget sa lungsod, barangay, probinsya ay nahati lamang sa tatlo ang kanilang gastos. First is personal service. Then, sa personal service, lahat ng patungkol sa service ng empleyado, bonus, insurance, premium, overtime, retirement. And then sa maintenance and other operating expenses naman, dyan papasok yung mga tao pinopondohan ng mga local government units, mga traveling supplies, communication, materials. And then sa capital outlays naman, mga paggawain pamili ng lupa, pagpapadevelop ng lupa, paggawa ng kalsada, barangay hall, and clinic. After sa budget preparation, pupunta yan sa budget authorization and review. The plan used to verify consistency of the budget with approved activities, goals, and objectives. Budget authorization, which is yung sanggunian, sila yung mag-a-authorize, sila yung magsasabi kung tama ba yung paglalaanan ng pinopropose ng local chief executive. Then, iaakyat yan sa mas mataas na sanggunian, yung budget ng barangay, i-review ng bayan at lungsod. Yung budget ng bayan at lungsod, i-review ng panlalawigan. And then, yung pag-review niyan ay may date or period, may specific date and period. And then yung pag-review dyan ay may specific date or period. The next one is the budget execution. Sa budget execution naman, the plan is the basis for determining the activities to undertake during the period. Diyan na ipapatupad yung na-propose na projects or program. And then sa budget accountability naman, the plan sets the standards against which performance can be measured. Dito, kailangan mong i-liquidate sa Commission on Audit yung mga evidences saan mo dinala yung pera ng barangay, municipal, or bayan. That will be my part in this chapter.